hanging out here in Deadwood, South Dakota, infamous with all the movies and TV shows and the history here. We've had a good time. Bobby's been like our personal historian going over here. He runs the venue here, and we just parked ourselves in the square called Outlaw Square. What else would you call it in Deadwood? And so they do this live music. It's Wednesday night, and they still got live music on the square. So as you see them back there doing all the setup and putting out the chairs and getting ready for our band Ivory to play. They've just sound checked. There's a shot of the stage as they're doing their last little moves. This is a total professional setup here. Been doing this, as they say, since 1876, as you can see there on the banner for this Outlaw Square stage. And of course the tourist, that old camera's decided it wants to freeze up. Tourists doing what tourists do, walking up and down the street and seeing the things here in Deadwood. As it is really cooled off. It's getting kind of nice right now. I've been under this tent. Bobby offered me a tent when I walked up, and so of course I took him up on that. And AJ knows how it works. He's seen me do this during the breaks. I keep scooching around to stay in the shade, move the table, move the cameras, move the table. But we're finally getting a little bit of overcast right now. It's looking nice. All right, y'all, so here we are, and let me talk about my man Danny Knowles at the Knowles Group, one of our fine long-term sponsors, lifelong friend of mine. I guess you count it when you get our age and you met when you were 10 years old. Danny and I went through high school together, and man, you know, we come from a great community, but in order to find opportunity and to get out there in the world and do something, you gotta move, you gotta leave. It's just one of those things that where we so screwed up the South and robbed it of its industry, little small towns around Alabama. So Danny goes off in the world, I go off in the world into the stuff I've done, but he goes off into, after the military service, into financial services and planning. And you know, when you come from the roots he has to learn how to treat people with respect and keeping yourself humble, but yet again you learn how the big shots handle money and how they build wealth and how they grow. Danny's put those two together with a fine practice. After working for some of the largest firms in the country, he decided a few years ago, he goes, you know what, I can do this myself. I want to do things my way. So he and the family, Sherry and the boys, they all moved back to Birmingham and set up shop here, founded the Knowles Group, and they have helped, I would guess, probably hundreds from our audience over the years get straight when it comes to your investing and your money. I'll tell you this, and Danny would agree with me, don't try to do this on your own, even if you don't choose his practice. Get that third-party verification, outside coaching, and strategic advice from somebody that really does this for a living. And that's Danny. I would send you to him and only him, because I know he and his sons now in the practice with him are going to tell you what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear to get on track or to get back on track or to stay on track, or if you're in control of your retirement money, to get yourself a raise. If you're just starting over, to get you back on track. Some people, look, stuff happens in life. You get derailed and you need to play some catch up. They've got plans for that too. Just a great group over there. It's the KnowlesGroup.com, N-O-L-E-S, the KnowlesGroup.com. Well, outside of Trump Town, and the big thing we're waiting on with him, we'll just run back through some headlines. By the way, we'll throw the phone lines open. I think, AJ, sound check's over now. We can get back to some semblance of normalcy with the sound levels. Sometimes you're just trying to talk over that stuff, but it's the beast that we're in. If we had set up half a block from here, I think sound check still would have been echoing off these buildings. So, but it's going to be a fun night tonight. But yeah, back to the headlines of today. It's not been a real news-filled day. There was a lot of stuff on the Hill this morning. We're watching our neighbors out in Texas with all that flooding in San Antonio. A lot of the folks still waiting on Trump's speech for tomorrow night and whatever that involving our elections. There's another story that just popped up this afternoon. I had to wait for it to be verified, but I don't know if this is funny or serious. I don't have any problem with it, but it caught me by surprise. Apparently the military, boy, things have changed at the Department of Defense since Hegseth's been there. They are going to put into effect a testosterone testing program for all of their service members that are over the age of 30. I know Andrew McLean's got one of those Men's Health sponsors. He'll be excited about this story. He should talk about this tomorrow when they discuss it and maybe have their sponsor on to talk about how this works. So here's how the story goes. I saw this in Newsmax, by the way. Pete Hegseth today said that service members over 30 are going to be tested annually for testosterone and offered replacement therapy if they need it. I love it. It's science, man. You don't want some effeminate, estrogen-filled little bags of emotion running around during a war. You need some grown-ass men that are ready to take care of some business with all the tea. They need high tea in the military. Look, I'm not making fun of it. At a certain age, and all men are different, I've listened to all the ads like you do. Your levels change. Your levels drop, just like women go through changes with their hormonal levels, and it's men too. We're so prideful, and we make jokes and get cocky about it, but it's a legitimate thing. You want these people to be energetic, sharp, focused, aware, strong, and vigorous, because a lot's being demanded of these folks in the military. I'll share a side story, and I promise y'all, I'm not trying to say this by way of bragging or anything. I'm just trying to describe a moment. Last night we went to dinner after the show. It was a little bit of a late night. I had to pack up and get back from Wall, and we went over to a little young Jack, who's with us now. He flew out to meet us on the trip. He wanted hibachi. So we go to a really good hibachi place here in Rapid City. We sit down, and this cute little family, two families were next to us. One of them had a baby, and naturally my grandfather's heart just melted with this little baby girl. She was about the size of my youngest grandson. And they were just doting over the baby. And slowly over the course of the meal, when you're sitting around a hibachi grill, you will pick up on, sometimes you talk directly to each other, but they were in their own little 20-something-year-old world. Well, and I just picked up on immediately they were all in the Air Force. And here was this family out trying to have a nice time, just service members. And I don't know what it was. I sort of drifted off. Well, outside the fact that Jack decided to lie to the hostess, AJ, and tell them it was my birthday so they would come out and sing the birthday song. And they did. He punked me, and I've told him he has started generational warfare, and there's hell to pay. I got 50 years experience in pranks, so the kid's in trouble. He has no idea. The kid's in trouble. So, but anyway, so he did that, and it was funny. It got the table involved in talking to each other. So I know I'm telling a long-winded old man story. That's just part of it. So these kids were sitting there. I watched their conversation. I could hear them talking about, what time they had to do this. And I was thinking about how it must be to be in your 20s. You've done the honorable thing. AJ, your whole family were military folks. Mm-hmm. And it's always been honorable service. But for me to eject politics into it right now, there was a time when there was such political petri dish kind of social engineering going on, especially during Biden, when we were experimenting with these agencies as if they were social, cultural tools and not a warfighting machine. So we're demanding these people come, and we're not demanding, requesting them to sign up voluntarily, serve our country, and the morale was down, recruitment was down, retention was down. These young men, I was sitting there watching them going, they didn't want to be taking orders from people, grown-ass men walking around the Pentagon in skirts, in pencil skirts, lecturing these young men, these testosterone-filled men who have bravely put themselves on the line, and their families for that matter, little babies back home like that baby that was sitting with us last night, to go join up. And so there's something about that. It's just, so morale was down, readiness was down, accidents were up. It's been a mess. And then here we get the Trump administration where they try to get rid of that nonsense, get rid of the phony social engineering stuff, go back to being a merit-based system where there's integrity involved. Young men rise to that challenge. I've known that from raising my own young men. You've got to put markers out there and set the bar high and push them, and then when they get close to it, you move it a little bit to keep them strong. And that's what our military's always done. It's been one of the best training grounds for people that maybe needed a little direction and focus or some skills to go in and get that kind of confidence. We all know those stories. We've seen the movies. We got family members. It's such a wonderful thing when it's done right. And it had been bastardized. It had been completely disrupted. So last night I'm sitting there watching these little families. Bottom line is I paid for their dinner because I just something just flew over my heart that any of these two guys with their wives sitting there and the one with the baby they could be called up next week. They could be in one of these war zones. Some of the people that were killed early in this Iran situation, they weren't on a battlefield. They were at a base where a missile came in. we continue to call on these people and stretch them thin to do things on behalf of this country, and we will always need to do that. And so it's nice to see honorable service. It's nice to see some standards returned to the military, and I'm all about it. If the military wants to raise the bar and put these kind of things into place, I think the young men could benefit from it themselves if the military is willing to pay for that. Let's put another contrast on it. 5 years ago, well, hell, 3 years ago, the United States military was paying for sex changes. They were paying for what became known as gender reassignment. Now we're paying for testosterone. I like the change. I like the change a lot. That is an amazing story in the news tonight with the DOD and Hegseth. And if you hate that story, you need to get your T levels checked. I'm just saying, it might be right for you. Go see Andrew McLean's doctor and see what that's all about. Hey, Alabama Gold Refinery bringing you the show tonight. I do appreciate Steve and his expertise too when people want to buy, sell, and trade in precious metals. It's called Gold Refinery, but it's not just gold. It's silver and platinum and all the metals that are commodities nowadays in any form. They'll trade with you. They'll sell to you. They'll buy from you. Steve's just, he gives honest pricing on each side of the equation. The fact that he'll throw a little bonus in. Say you've got a bunch of old pieces that you've collected over the years. You're not wearing them anymore. Maybe they had sentimental attachments because whoever gave them to you is not in your life anymore. You just want to get rid of that piece. They will trade you, for example, gold for gold. If you got chains and rings, they'll trade those for little gold pieces that are of equal value. Even throw a little premium in for you in that way. So you can do all of it, and it's a great location. It's centrally located in Homewood, which is dead center of our listening audience. And, of course, all the safety and security features are built into that facility where you can come and go as you please with all that, knowing that your valuables and your money are safe. And then you got the benefit of getting to know Steve and all his knowledge about how all this stuff works. Man, he can go back to Bible days and teach you about the value of gold. And I love listening to him talk about it. I also love our sponsors are so passionate about what they do. This guy loves his business. This is who you want to do business with. AGR, AlabamaGoldRefinery.com in Homewood on 29th, right across from the big Regions Bank. We'll be back here in just a minute, live from beautiful Deadwood, South Dakota this afternoon. Leland Live on the road. Back in a minute. Man, okay, it's 5:23. I have to look at the right clock, AJ, because over here it says 4:23 because we're on a whole different time zone out here in Deadwood, South Dakota. It's been a fun afternoon. It's finally cooling off, just beautiful here as everybody settled in. Sound check's over with our band here on Outlaw Square, so we should be able to, from here till 6 o'clock, have some good old peace and quiet. Let's talk about Work Trucks, downtown Birmingham, longtime sponsor here on the show. Wonderful sponsor for people that are in business, or maybe you've got an organization that just needs a box truck or a van of some type, cargo or passenger, flatbed. They've got pickup trucks galore. It's just a wonderful dealership. These are pre-owned, and we're all about saving money and taking care. If you're in business, you understand, keep your overhead down. You also don't want to be inefficient with your time. One of the other disciplines in business is do what you do to keep revenue coming in, and rely on experts to supply with things. And that, to me, that's where Work Trucks makes just business sense. They've gone to the trouble to track down the best of these vehicles out there in the lease market, get them back here. Then they go to the trouble, which would also take you a lot of time, to vet those vehicles, to go through them 125 points, get them on the lot. They've already got finance companies on the go. You're not wasting a lot of time trying to figure out who you're going to run your financing through. If you need one of these in your fleet, it's ready. They're on the T. They got the keys in the box in the dealership. Get down there and find the one that works for your industry and let them get you fixed up with warranties and financing or anything else you need at Work Trucks, TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Be sure to check them out down on 3rd Avenue South, right there in the middle of Birmingham, Alabama. AJ, I reset a couple of the cameras, so it may take them a minute to get up. See, y'all got to look at me and my big old cowboy hat right now. Can we play that Rocky? I just saw a funny line about this Rocky movie. I'm so giddy about this movie that's coming out. And I forget the kid's name. Maybe I still have it pulled up. But a trailer, as the kids say, dropped today. That's for a new movie about the making of the first Rocky movie. And the guy that's playing Stallone is just such a dead ringer. I don't know who did the casting on this. He sounds like him. I mean, you can tell it's not him if you're a Stallone fan, but he's as good as I've seen with these recreations. And I had to make the joke earlier. I'm just surprised Hollywood didn't put a lesbian of color or something as Rocky in the remake of the way the story is told. They just keep doing that stuff and they keep killing themselves. But whoever's putting this movie out, and I think it's MGM, just went down the middle with it. They cast characters that match the real life, real world characters. And the Rocky story is amazing, the Stallone story, about how he wanted to get into the film business, and he wrote this script. Nobody would take him seriously. They thought he was a big dumb jock, and he didn't have the personality, the speech. You know, Schwarzenegger, who also became a huge action star in the same time period, same way. He was a musclehead who was Mr. Olympia or whatever. They wouldn't take him seriously as a Hollywood guy, and the two of them wound up in movies together. So just crazy cool history. But the trailer blew my mind. I think if the movie's anywhere close to, and now AJ, now I've frozen up over there, so I'm just going to turn the graphic on for a second. If the trailer is anywhere close to the way that movie looks like it's going to be presented, I'll be excited. I'll be the first one in the theater in November to see this thing. The line I wanted to tell you about, the movie's called I Play Rocky. Interesting title. And you got, I don't know, perhaps it's a good movie even if you weren't a Stallone or a fan of the Rocky series. I loved all of it. I mean, I even loved Rocky V. I loved that weird one with Tommy Gunn. I love the Creed movies and that young man that plays the Creed character, and I just think they've done a good job with all that good old classic storytelling. Cheesy if or not, I loved it. And so now that they're doing this sort of backstory rather than doing a prequel or something else, just telling the story of Stallone getting this movie made, I'm super excited about it. The line I was going to tell you about was somewhere online. I just saw a guy said, this guy's such a dead ringer for Stallone, his next movie ought to be called I Play Rambo. he could have a whole career of making movies about Stallone movies, and whatever happened with that. Crazy stuff, man. So I was excited. Play a little bit of that clip. I know we're getting close to the break, but I want people to kind of hear the drama surrounding the I Play Rocky movie.
Name?
I'm Mike. Acting's what I live and breathe for. And I gotta have faith in myself.
You need to show everyone who you are.
I like this girl, Sylvester.
Sylvester?
That's right, his real name.
It's got a nice ring to it. Sylvester Stallone. It's like Peter Parker.
Are you delusional? You don't got the looks to be a movie star. Not to mention, you talk like you got rocks in your mouth.
Yeah, I know I don't look like Einstein, but I got a brain. The only way for me to get to show people is me to have to write a script for myself.
Yeah, so do that. Write a script. And give yourself the best part.
No, that's a good promo. I don't think they're giving too much away. We all some of us know that that whole story. Very cool, man. As we've talked a lot about movies tonight too, with Old Western set around Deadwood. Just trying to keep it loose here as we get wrapped up out here in South Dakota. Heading down to Wyoming again for the rest of the week. Y'all hang in there. Let's do the bottom of the hour, and we'll come on back, talk to our man Thomas over at Stockton Mortgage, and take some phone calls. Back in a minute. Stay tuned. Man, I'd be okay with it if they made a movie called I Play Mr. T.
I Pity the Fool.
If they did a movie about all of that, that'd be fine with me. I'd go watch that too. A huge fan of him as well. All right, y'all, let's do it again. Stockton Mortgage, Thomas is not with us tonight, but I can tell that story easily. They've helped me so many times with different scenarios over the year. And I'll give you 2 examples. One, I was looking at a house one time, and I had no idea that it was just happened to be in a zip code that it had a FEMA situation. So they qualified for a lower interest rate. And that just a program out there. You'd have never found that searching around online. Then you got other examples where I had one example where I was interested in doing something, but I wasn't sure, what I should do, say credit-wise. Should I pay off a couple cards or move some things around? And they have a program that they can specifically tell you exactly which moves to make. Your instincts may be wrong on that in terms of improving your score, getting it as high as you can to get the best rates. You may think, well, I'll pay this one completely off and that one completely off. That may not be what you need to do. Some of these programs, you got to get it down to a certain percentage, which is even better than paying it off. It's crazy. Credit score stuff's crazy. But they'll help you with things like that, and it starts with a conversation. So reach out to them at savewithstockton.com, and then you got that communication going. Y'all can back of the envelope and dream a little before you dig in and start filling out forms and doing stuff, and they'll get you in the best position to be able to do whatever it is that you've got on your mind with your mortgages. If you go to the savewithstockton.com website, they know that's coming from this radio show. And I'm just saying, I think y'all get a little extra TLC because they do appreciate the business relationship over the years at Stockton Mortgage. It's savewithstockton.com, savewithstockton.com. Man, here we are. I'm going to be a little sad to leave Deadwood. It's been a charming city to visit. And as you've heard, if you listen to the show for any length of time today, these people are just natural, just eloquentious. They are good storytellers. They love the area they live in. They like to tell you all those backstories. So we've met some interesting folks today. I'm sorry Mr. Carl didn't get back over here. He was the first person I met here in Deadwood today was him, and he guided me to where I needed to go to try to get set up. And he just looked like a moonshiner. He had the overalls and the big white beard. And he told me he was born here, and he always has lived his whole life in Deadwood. I said, well, he goes, I don't know what I could tell you, but I was born here. And I said, well, you're the exactly guy I want to talk to you. He said he was coming back for the music tonight. So if we catch him in the next 23 minutes, I will stick him on the radio. I have to tell you a couple of funnies. I'm set up over here in the back of the venue, as you can see with the camera there. Let me give you all another tour. There's downtown. You see the tourists walking around. And then there's the stage of the music. They're going to be listening to that band Ivory tonight. And I'm seriously going to go listen to that Dakota Blue Fire song. That thing was good. But, yeah, I'm sort of here in the back. So people are walking up to me and asking me questions. AJ, I got to say it must be the hat. I must look like a native from here because people are walking up asking me for directions. I've been asked, where's the bathrooms? 3 times. One guy just walked up and said, are you with the band? He goes, I have a request from the band. I said, no, they're over there. But the weirdest thing that happened to me so far, I mean, I've had a million tourist questions because they're right here. One guy wanted to give me money to ride the buggy, the horse and buggy. I was like, that's not me. That's Carl. And so I was just in this tourist position to watch tourists. So earlier in the day, I was walking from where I had parked back down here to the setup, and this guy came up to me with his wife, very well-dressed guy, and he clearly had a foreign accent, and I could not understand what he was asking me. And I almost picked up that it was Russian, but I still couldn't understand it, and he was so lost. And what he was asking me, he said, if he gave you these words, AJ, he goes, familia dollar. And I was going, what the hell is he asking me? And his wife couldn't speak any English. And then it hit me. I said, Family Dollar? He goes, yeah, Familia Dollar. And it was he was just looking for a Family Dollar. There's apparently one around the corner. I'm like, we all need a Family Dollar sometimes out on the road. So I had to ask him what country he was from. He was from Poland. So apologies to anybody in our audience that's from Poland. That was a terrible accent. But I was just trying to recreate the confusion of a foreign tourist. And then I instantly thought, that's how I sound in a foreign country when I can't speak their language and I'm just trying to say something. I'm probably sounding way worse than that, actually. Here's Maria. She's over on line, line 3. She's got a traffic update. She's so good to do that for us in the afternoon while she's out there getting around. Maria, what you got tonight?
Okay, 280 eastbound or outbound, right lane blocked, and it's going to be a minute because the little pickup truck that got T-boned is pretty damaged. Right in front of that new Cane's chicken place, but you know, on the opposite side of the road. So where people try to cut over from the Lowe's and cut over 3 lanes of traffic and take everyone's word for it, like, yeah, go on, you're okay, go on. So they were trying to, you know, make a left and cut over the 3 lanes of the eastbound traffic and got T-boned. So police are there, but no tow truck yet.
Well, you're ahead of everybody then, Maria, as always, and we appreciate you checking in with us because that could, especially this time of the day, super traffic through there. And, you know, some of those new chain businesses have just added to that because they're coming and going through drive-thrus, and it's just added to something, well, at least on that side of the road. But you said this was the eastbound, outbound, though, on the opposite side of the chicken place. All right. Did I lose Maria? Okay. Thanks, Maria. As always, thanks from the bottom of our heart for the traffic update. She's so good. She and E could just have their own traffic department. They should get together. Now, let's see what else we got going. I'm trying to make sure I'm covering all the ground. Feeling a little loose, though. We don't have a whole lot of stuff going on. Isn't there a big game tonight in Atlanta in the World Cup? I've sort of forgotten about the World Cup, but I think it's isn't it still England and Argentina, I think, tonight? You got Messi, and then the Spaniards beat the French, thank the Lord. And for whatever reason, I cared about that outcome. So we're heading toward the final, I guess, in the World Cup for any of y'all to care. Are any of y'all still watching it? Everybody's kind of got the same joke. We can pretend like we can quit pretending like we really like soccer now and going back to what do we got? Less than 60 days from American football. It's coming. It's close. Also, let me tell you about Mandu real quick, and then I have another little side story to tell you. I think it's a good lesson for us. I'll tell you here in just a minute. Mandu, this is Paul and his operation over in Homewood. Now, Paul's a franchisee of the Mandu franchise. He got onto this years ago. Its headquarters is near where he was originally from in Tennessee. Paul moved down here. He moved to Smith Lake. I love his story. And he started listening to us on the radio and decided to open this franchise down in Birmingham, this Mandu franchise. We didn't have one anywhere in Alabama. So he was the pioneer for bringing this to Birmingham. And what this is electronic muscle stimulation. It's you put this suit on and, man, you go through it. And when they're done with you, they're done with you. It's a full body workout using the electricity provides the muscle resistance. So it's way more efficient than trying to do it with the old school weights and cables and all that stuff. Plus, you're not dealing with the gym culture where it takes so long just to get there, and you got to dress for it, and then you got to wait on the equipment and deal with all the douchebags in the gym, and then and drive yourself back home, and it's just such a time commitment, and it's really ineffective if you're not getting after it. And at some age of life, and I'm starting to understand this, that's not as effective anymore for weight loss or anything that are our goals trying to represent. Mandu's different. It's efficient, it's effective, and it doesn't put the strain and stress on your body if you've got mobility issues. So y'all reach out to Mandu. Again, in Homewood, they're on a second floor walk up in downtown Homewood on that main street in downtown Homewood is the 18th. And then they've got a location in Tuscaloosa now on University. There's one in Huntsville now. The idea is catching on and growing. And what they'll do is they'll let you try it for free, see how you like it. And you don't even have to decide on the spot. I think after you do it on the spot, you'll go, okay, I need to come back for more of this. But after a couple of days, you feel how intensely that good kind of exercise sore you feel. You know you've had a workout, and you see how easy it was. And I think that's when people's light bulbs go off, and they head back over to see Paul. So go see him in Homewood. Again, on 18th, mandu.com. Sign up. The easier thing to do is to sign up in advance and go through all the questionnaire, because they have some specific questions, because some people will not be medically eligible to do Mandu. But if you are, you are, and they'll put you in there and let you go through the paces and see what you think. It's different, I promise you. It's going to be a little weird at first, but once you get it, and it's a wonderful thing. It's mandu.com, mandu.com, as we roll along tonight. So earlier today, I don't know how many of you use Apple products or maybe some of the other products have these features on them, but my watch has a fall detector on it. And I've heard it go off before. One time I was up on a ladder and I just jumped off. I was about 3 rungs up. I was just, I guess, in a hurry or just being stupid. And I just jumped off and suddenly my watch goes off like this air raid. I thought the Germans were bombing us. And I'd never heard that before and I didn't know what to do. And I looked down and it pretty much told me on the screen, it said, you've had a fall. Are you okay? And you have to kind of respond to it to turn it off. And I think it's even, you can set these up to call 911 or something like that. What a wonderful tool for people. And then it's done it for me again. And one time when I didn't really recreate a fall motion, but it did go off. So I knew that sound. So I was walking down the street. It was right after I met that couple that was looking for the Family Dollar. And I was just loping on down the street. And suddenly I just heard the sound and immediately heard that alarm go off. And it wasn't me, obviously, but a gentleman behind me, I think he just had, it seemed to me his shoes, he had these real thick soles, and I think he lost his balance. But I mean, AJ, this dude hit his head on the concrete so hard. There was a blood spot, probably about as big around as a basketball. His head was bleeding, but his watch was going off. And luckily his wife was not too far behind him, and we were able to connect her with him, and she was taking care of him. And he like a lot of guys, was kind of embarrassed, had a big ego. I was trying to see if I could help him, but he kind of didn't want anybody fussing over him. So I just, once his wife had him, I left him alone. But I thought about that as I was walking away. I thought, our technology, while it can consume us and keep us a little too distracted in life, there's some miraculous things that technology can do as well. And so if you have those settings on a smartwatch or any kind of smart device, go ahead and learn about them and set them up. Because had that guy been alone on at night, especially in his condition, I would dare say he was probably close to 80. I'm not sure he would have survived that. He's probably going to have a concussion, but that watch drew people to him immediately because it's pretty loud. And I just couldn't let the show get by without talking about that real life incident of how that tech works. So, I mean, it's there for a reason, and it's a lesson to me too, because I don't even know if I have mine fully set up. So use it. It could absolutely save your life. Ox Foundation Solutions, also a big time sponsor of the show here. We appreciated them for years. Take care of this audience in a number of ways. They're a full service company, which means they do all of the foundation stuff. They can level your whole house. They can just take care of something minor. You got a little water coming in a corner. Maybe you sense something's wrong under there because it feels damp. You open the door to the crawl space and it just feels musty, and you don't want that mold and must in your house. Some of these problems, as I tell you all every night, are interconnected. Something's got to cause the water intrusion. Water intrusion will eventually cause the mildew and the mold. That eventually can cause you to be sick. So don't put up with that. Y'all get Ox over there and let them handle all of it. They can level your house, get the water out of it, remediate the mold, and take care of all of those things. It is oxstrong.com, oxstrong.com. Their encapsulation and mold removal program is just tops. They've got the latest technology, highly trained crews, so any level of these services. And man, some of y'all, you got a bad enough situation, it gets to be all of it. Let them handle all of that and take good care of your house. You don't want a sick house with mold spores and these things building up into the air of your home, that stuff getting into your walls. Take care of that with oxstrong.com. oxstrong.com. Back here in just a second in Deadwood, South Dakota. All right, y'all, it is 5:52. Leland Live, talking to NM5. Axiom Tax Resolution Group, another great long-term sponsor here on the show. Axiom is, for the most part, Perry Cronin. He's got an excellent team around him, but Perry's experience is just unmatched anywhere, probably anywhere in the country. And that may be, he might say that's a little braggadocious, but Perry knows this stuff. And he set up Axiom just to help people deal with the IRS. Man, it is intimidating. It's depressing. It's soul-sucking when the IRS and your own federal government is coming after you. And they'll try to threaten you with other agencies that they're going to come down on you if you don't pay up. And sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes you're wrong. You got behind the eight ball, made a miscalculation or a bad decision, and you owe them the money. Well, there are programs to help you even settle that for less than you owe. There's one called the Fresh Start Initiative that may settle that for you for less than, as much as 80% off. And not everybody's going to qualify for that, but it's there. And to know how to qualify for it, you need to get with Perry and his team at Axiom Tax Resolution Group. They'll help you. They'll get you some sleep again and sit down with you face to face. Them being local is so critical. It's Axiom Tax Resolution Group, 205tax.com. You can tell from the 205, they're good local folks. And look, y'all can see these TV ads and decide to trust somebody at a national firm. Those ads are just, they're generating leads and farming you out to random CPAs. This is Perry. This is what he does. This is his expertise. It's AxiomTaxResolutionGroup.com, 205tax.com, 205tax.com, or the phone number, 872-1100, Axiom Tax Resolution Group. We got a developing story out of Texas. Let me see if I can get this pulled up again. Apparently there's been a shooting at a Kroger in Texas. We don't know if this is some random domestic stuff or someone has barged in there to shoot the Kroger up. Just real sketchy details at this point. We know at least two people. It looks like there may have been two shooters. This is by way of location. This is on Cypress Drive in, let's see, is it in Cypress, Texas? Yeah. Excuse me, Cypress Drive, Cypress, Texas. Police are all over the scene asking people to stay away from the area. Some kind of shooting incident has taken place in that part of Texas. Do you know where Cypress is?
It's just outside of Houston.
Excuse me, Houston all in the news this week. Not sure we're going to have time to get any more details on that. We got 5 minutes to go. Anyway, quick update on that story. Let me check one more thing. I had a couple of things to hit you with before I get out of here, and I think the other one has. Let's go. Oh, the soccer match. I was just looking down. I think the match is over. Tell me.
Yeah, Argentina won.
Argentina won. Messi. I've just come to know about his fame and athletic ability. But this guy, man, if he goes to the World Cup and wins against Spain, this guy's going to go down as a straight legend among some of the big legends in all sports. But yeah, and the fans are complaining about more of the weird referee stuff. They're saying Argentina keeps getting a pass from the refs. Some of that is loser bitterness stuff, but we were doing it too because of that whole red card thing. And I don't even pretend to completely understand it, and honestly don't want to. But I don't know, Major League Soccer, it's so punitive for any kind of event to happen during a game, and you just suspend a player that willy-nilly. I don't know that that's what's going on here, but anyhow, we'll watch the fallout from that. The French tried to burn their city down in Paris again last night after they lost to the Spanish. So it's the Argentinians and the Spanish in the final of the World Cup. Bottom line, regardless of who wins, and I quit caring a while back, it's nice that the United States pulled this off. We're one game away from what I would call a major success on the world stage. Not only just the presentation of it and how our country came off and the way foreign tourists were treated here and the wonderful time that they had, but there's not been any real security incidents. I was privy to a little bit of info on the security operation that was starting to build in all of these various venues ahead of the World Cup to make sure they did that right. And man, they managed to handle. That's a big task in these major events with all these foreign tourists and people coming and going from our country, and they were able to pull it off. So go USA. I maybe call it a platitude or not, but our country won the World Cup this year. Not on the soccer field, but as a nation projecting strength and dignity and grace and hospitality to the rest of the world, belaying an image, and particularly hostile people to our nation, including a lot of people here at home, would tell you about our country. They're lying about our country. They're always lying about our country. We're a wonderful nation. We're a great nation. We're the most powerful nation on the earth. We became that way because of our freedoms. And by Jove, we need to start defending that again and being proud of it. What a wonderful year to do it, too. 250 years of the United States of America. One more time for Southern Skies Dermatology as I get out the door. SouthernSkiesDermatology.com. Man, we're outside a lot in the summer, and I know we hadn't had as much sun as we usually do with all the rain and the clouds and the dreary weather, but sun can do damage, and it's not immediate. Sometimes you'll get a sunburn, and yeah, there's damage, but some of the damage we did to ourselves was decades ago. We got through it, and then it just sits there and lurks and can turn into skin cancer later in life. So whether you're older and that was the case, or you're young and you just want to take good care of your health and protect yourself going forward, and don't do like we did back in the redneck days of iodine and baby oil and sunburning on purpose. Boy, that was stupid. But y'all do all the things, do the protective things, wear those hats. I mean, I got my cowboy hat on. It's not only stylish, but I'm protecting my face out here in this hot sun. That's why the thing was invented. So wear the hats, do the long sleeves, and go get checked. That's the other part of that. Get that baseline and see where you stand with skin cancer. Man, I appreciate Southern Skies taking such good care and saving lives in this audience. SouthernSkies.com, SummerSkiesDermatology.com, SouthernSkiesDermatology.com. Well, we're off to Cheyenne, man. We're heading down to the big rodeo very early in the morning. Try to get in there and get set up by 2 o'clock. We will see y'all then. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread. AJ and the gang back here tomorrow.
All right. Goodbye, AJ.